Hola, buenas tardes. Creo que es hora de empezar. Gracias a todos los que habéis sido puntuales. Seguro que en breve empiezan a incorporarse algunas personas más que tenemos hoy confirmado. Bien, agradeceros como siempre la asistencia a este nuevo webinar de Andalucía que organiza Andalucía Aerospace. Lo primero, en un día como este, espero que todos estéis bien, en este día en el que nos han anunciado más medidas restrictivas para tratar de frenar el virus. En cualquier caso, a nosotros desde las empresas no nos queda otra que seguir trabajando, eso sí, con mucha seguridad y mucha prudencia, por favor. Hoy nos complace poner sobre la mesa un tema que creo que es del interés de todo el sector aeroespacial andaluz, la diversificación, bajo el título de Ideas para diversificar en el sector aeroespacial. Creo que se van a poner encima de la mesa aspectos, asuntos en los que yo creo que ya estamos todas las empresas y si no, al menos deberíamos estarlo, ¿no? Tenemos para ello, yo creo que dos personas, cartel auténticamente de lujo, personas cualificadas que seguro nos pueden, y ese era el objetivo, abrir la mente, sugerir propuestas, proyectos, nuevas ideas que nos hagan reflexionar respecto a qué podría ser aplicable en cada uno de nuestros negocios. La dinámica de la reunión va a ser la habitual en esta webinar. Los ponentes, pues tenemos dos ponentes, van a desarrollar el tema. En principio hemos pactado, consensuado con ellos, ya que es un tema tan amplio, pues que lo aborden en tres bloques, que serían producción inteligente, automatismos inteligentes y el tercer bloque serían los nuevos modelos de negocio. Pero como siempre hacemos en este tipo de eventos, de jornadas, va a haber pie y oportunidad de la participación de todos. Los mismos ponentes nos han comentado que en cualquier momento se puede pedir la palabra, de forma que lo podemos hacer bien a través de levantar la mano de forma virtual, escribiéndolo en el chat, y también podemos dirigirnos verbalmente. Si os pido por favor brevedad para que dé tiempo a la participación de todos. En esta ocasión la sesión va a ser en inglés, como ya hemos anunciado en la publicidad del webinar, dado que uno de nuestros ponentes es de origen alemán. Y por mi parte, simplemente me queda dar la palabra ahora a Fernando Esquivel, director general financiero de Torsesa y miembro de la junta directiva del clúster, que va a proceder a presentar a los invitados. Aprovecho también para dar las gracias a Fernando por la ayuda que hemos tenido con él para organizar este evento. Fernando, cuando quieras.
Buenas tardes a todos. Gracias, Juan, por introducirnos y quería aprovechar pues, un poco la circunstancia que estamos. Has dicho algo de abrir mente. Yo quería empezar hablando de abrir ventanas, abrir puertas, que ahora tanto nos recomiendan. Abrir ventanas y abrir puertas para ver qué hay fuera. Y por otro lado, reforzar la imagen o la idea de lo que tenemos como clúster, que yo creo que es muy positiva, la unidad de asociación y de unión, porque esto viene nada más que de algunas de las reuniones que hemos tenido previamente y en la cual lanzábamos estas ideas. Yo tengo la suerte de conocer a Carsten hace algún tiempo y pensaba que iba a ser una persona muy interesante, y ya José Manuel también, para acompañarnos y darnos alguna visión de cómo puede evolucionar el mundo en todo el sector industrial, del que él tiene amplia experiencia, y de qué podemos hacer que no esté ligado básicamente o estrictamente al sector aeronáutico, ¿no? Eso además es fundamental que lo hagamos si antes nos pilla trabajando y antes estamos trabajando, ¿no? Que yo creo que es otra de las ideas que estamos haciendo desde la asociación y otra de los hechos que estamos haciendo desde la asociación y que nos está reforzando como tal, ¿no? Entonces, abrir mente, abrir ventanas y que nos pille trabajando. Eso nos da oportunidad también de conocer a gente como todos vosotros y como Carsten, que tengo la suerte de poder invitar hoy, ¿vale? Destacar de él que ha estudiado Dirección y Administración de Empresas, aquí quiero reforzar un poco también el puesto como colega mío en administración de empresas y dirección de empresas, que es muy importante en épocas turbulentas como hay ahora. Vamos a ser capaces seguro de manejarlo. Además, su trayectoria internacional, no solamente ha estado en algunos puestos en Europa, sino que destacar también una estancia larga en Estados Unidos, que creo que fue cuando tuve el primer contacto con él. También en China, con lo cual durante más de 3 años pues, le da una visión de otra parte del mundo muy distinta a la nuestra. Y ahora de nuevo en Alemania. Y además, no solamente eso, sino una visión muy transversal del mundo industrial, que creo que ha sido básicamente lo que ha tocado hasta ahora, con lo cual nos va a venir muy bien a todos nosotros, ¿no? Y también especialista en ese sentido de Industria 4.0, etcétera, ¿no? Y de José Manuel, pues quiero destacar, pues, aunque no tengo la suerte de conocerlo nada más que desde ayer, pues ingeniero computacional y un perfil que le va a venir muy bien y para balancearlo con lo anterior, que ha sido muchos años como ejecutivo y director de servicio al cliente, ¿no? Que claro, te permite ver también la parte más cercana hacia el cliente. Y con responsabilidades para España y Portugal. Well, just to finish and to open the meeting with Carsten, just to say that one of the must is that you have to be a very good person too. And in my opinion, Carsten is a very good person, so he have two both good character, professional and person. Okay, Carsten, is your meeting, your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much, Fernando, Juan, for having us. I think Jose Manuel, you're still in the line, right?
Yeah.
Thanks for the introduction. So we don't need to say something about us. Just very quickly again, I'm 16 years with Siemens and spent more or less 50% somewhere abroad in the US and China somewhere. And now I'm back since 5 years in Germany. And here my main task, my main goal is to help companies, enterprises to do the first steps in the world of digitalization. So this is a nutshell. Probably Jose Manuel, do you want to say just 1 or 2 words about yourself before we start?
No, only to say that thank you, Fernando, for the introduction. And I have been working in Siemens for 15 years. The last 5 years, I'm on board of the Aerospace global team for Siemens. And I'm the responsible for Spain and Portugal, like an Aerospace Account Manager.
Okay, so let's get started. This is basically just an overview what we're going to present you in the next, let's say, half to 45 minutes. Let's have a look at the current economical situation, caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Let's talk a little bit about the so-called new normal. What is the new normal? What is the impact of the new normal? And then, of course, one of the big topics, the topic of digitalization. What are the industry 4.0 technologies, how we can use them, how we can derive some business models. And we also brought some examples out of the aerospace industry with us to show you how companies can change their business model in a different way and generate a new revenue stream. And then let's talk about a little bit the intelligent production, intelligent automation. And there also Jose Manuel will bring some examples out of our Siemens world, out of our Siemens technology from the aerospace sector. So then we will have a wrap up and hopefully a fruitful discussion. I think in the beginning someone said, okay, if you have questions or something like this, please ask them in the end. However, if you have a question, please just feel comfortable, interrupt us and raise your question whenever this is. I personally prefer not just a presentation, also have a fruitful discussion during the presentation. That's much more lifeless, in my opinion. And if you are, let's say, you can also raise your question, of course, in Spanish. or Portuguese or whatever. And in German is also very preferred. So let's have a look. So what we are facing at the moment is definitely, let's say, something very historic. I mean, we went through a lot of crises already. Let's say in the 70s, I was not even born, I think 71. Someone needs to help me, probably Fernando. There was the first oil crisis, right? Then in 81, 82, we had the second oil crisis. So these were big, huge crises where we all suffered. Then I can remember in 2000, 2001, something like that, we had these so-called .com, all these internet companies who made an IPO, an initial public offering, and went to the stock exchange. And then all of a sudden this exploded. They all went bankrupt. So that was another big crisis. And then I think some of the countries, some of the industries are still suffering under the crisis in 2008. I called it the Lehman Brothers crisis, the financial crisis. So far, and I think some of the companies, some of the industries and countries even still suffering under this crisis. And now we are entering, since let's say 2014, 2015, the era of digitalization. And on top of that, in 2020 now, we are facing probably the biggest crisis we have seen since World War II, the global pandemic of COVID-19. So I just want to show you a couple of key facts here. If you take a look at the production levels for the different industries, this is all compared to the production output of each of the industry of 2019. So we as Siemens and also the colleagues from IHS, which is a big research institute, they're predicting that for example, in food and beverage, we will see the same production level again in 2020 as we had in 2019, so before the global pandemic. The same in chem farm, of course, people in food and beverage, they need to eat and drink, so the consumption is still there. In chem farm, of course, this is now driven, millions of dollars euros goes into this sector to find medicine or drugs against COVID-19. So now we are coming into the space of automotive, of oil and gas, and then of course the aerospace industry, where we definitely not see a recovery between 23, 24, or even 25. So these are the most industries which are suffering most under this crisis at the moment. At the right-hand side, I just want to share with you some facts about Europe. Let's take a look at Germany first. Our GDP, our gross domestic product, will most probably have seen a decrease of round about 6 to 7% in 2020, which is not too bad, I must say. However, if you compare it with a country like Spain, we are already talking about a double-digit decrease of 13, 14%. However, still, the research institutes, they predict already for 2021, for all the European countries, a positive sign of a positive growth of 4 to 5 or 6%, which is good. However, now if we are taking a look at the aerospace industry, this was just recently announced. I think the third quarter was the worst quarter which they've seen since many years. I think also since a record low order. So this is of course not very positive for all who are somehow active in the aerospace industry. So, Jose Manuel, do you want to say some words about aerospace?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Carsten. Hello, everybody. Let me talk about the impact on the aerospace industry due to the COVID-19. Yeah, some figures that we can see in this slide is manufacturers don't expect 2019 production levels to return until 2023 and also 2023, beyond 2023. So yeah, this is not optimistic criteria, but honestly is the reality. Yeah, the enterprises have between 30% to 50% overcapacity driven by the reduction of planes manufactured by Airbus and Boeing, among others. So they are the biggest companies in the world. And yes, if they have overcapacity, it means that of course the reduction of people is coming because a lot of machines are not working in this situation. Only 40% of the anticipated demand has been delivered. It means that the rest has not been delivered and also affects to the supply chain. Yeah, also 20% of the suppliers are at risk and could exit of the market. We have to think about how to improve the situation. For example, in other countries like in France, companies fight the economic downturn through mergers with other companies, sharing the risk and sharing also the benefits. One example in this regard is We Are Company, a French company. And other number is 25,000 aircraft are the current fleet. 65% will replace existing fleet and just 35% for increased capacity to 2019 level. So yeah, the figures that we can see are not the best, but we have to be optimistic in to looking forward the future.
Okay, so thanks a lot, Jose Manuel. So let's talk about the new normal. The new normal, I mean, you feel it in every aspect of your life. You feel it in the work. Yeah, I don't know how many. Let's do a quick poll. How many of you are currently in the office? Okay, so if nobody is saying something, I assume close to zero. It's the same for me. I don't know when I have seen my office the last time. So we are working. Yeah, so a lot of people working at home, mobile working, home office, teleworking, however you want to call it. So you feel the new normal in your working place. Number two, take a look. I mean, many of us like sports, like football. Yeah, you see all the stadiums are empty. You know, in Germany now, since today, we are not even allowed to send our kids to any sports activities. And I know that's the same situation in Spain, unfortunately. I mean, here you see on the left-hand side a nice picture of, I think it's Aerospace Sector is playing there. This you see it in sports, you see it in shopping, in our shopping behavior every day. So what I'm doing is I'm shopping almost everything online, except the Pata Negra I get delivered from Spain still, and some other stuff from Spain. But the rest, it's Amazon. They're doing a great job. They're doing a fantastic job. They even deliver food now. I don't know if you have it in Spain, but this is the way the life is changing. Yeah, take a look at our kids. Yeah, they are now all of a sudden learning online. Yeah, I don't know how it is in Spain. In Germany, some people 1 week they're working from home online. 1 week they are in school. In the US, for example, they are working 9 weeks online from home, and so on and so forth. So in all aspects of all area is affected by this new normal, by this global pandemic. So the business, society. So in here, I just want to show you some figures. 68%. I would like to continue to work remote. Yes, of course, but it also brings some, let's say, some challenges, especially when you have a small apartment, but you have a lot of kids, then it's quite challenging to work and concentrate, stay concentrated on your work. Yeah. Almost 60% of the people are more willing to use digital devices. That also counts for the people who are working in production plants, controlling your production via a tablet or something like this, or even via a mobile phone. So and here, that's for me a really a good number. Almost 90% see a rising importance of technology and digitalization for the future for the industrial environment. And now I'm talking about digitalization. In my opinion, I mean, digitalization will change all areas of life. The way we travel, the way we buy things, the way we manufacture products. And it's also changing our business model, the pace of innovation and the ability to adapt will play a crucial role if our organization, our companies still exist in 5, 10 years if you don't adapt. So this is really a crucial topic, this fourth industrial revolution, what we also call it. So let's take a look. What are the main drivers in the market? And here it doesn't matter really if we are talking about the aerospace industry, if we are talking about the food and beverage industry. So efficiency. So for the efficiency, I mean, take a look all these movements which are going on, the climate, the Fridays for Future movement, and they're looking for clean energy future. So companies needs to focus on their energy efficiency. Just an example, flexibility. 50 years, 30 years ago, there was one fits all. You have one car with 3 colors, and that's it. Now, all of a sudden, if you want to order a car, you have so many different kinds of things to configure in your car configure, and this needs to be somehow produced. So your production line needs to be very flexible, especially in volatile markets when you have to adapt even faster. So take a look at quality. Quality plays a crucial role. If you reduce the quality of your product, of whatever you manufacture, you reduce the waste at the same time. If you reduce the waste, then you save money. Very easy. Time to market is, for me, my favorite example. I can show you the mobile phone. It's a smartphone. It's from Apple. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people of you remember that also Siemens used to produce mobile phones. We were the sponsor of Real Madrid with Siemens Mobile. David Beckham was wearing the shirt, Zinedine Zidane, and so on and so forth. So very famous. We were market leader in Europe and South America and so on and so forth. But what happened? From the first idea to develop a new mobile phone to the day where the mobile phone was in the store to sell was just 6 months. And our organization, our Siemens organization, was not able to cope with all these different hierarchies and matrix organization to deal with this fast-paced environment against our competitor. So we lost the business, we had to solve it, and it's gone. It's simply gone. Does not exist anymore. And this is also what we not just experience one time, we experience many times also with other products. But this is the most famous one. Let's take a look at security. You see here industrial security, very important topic. When you are playing, I mean, everybody is talking about big data. Data is the new oil, the new gold. Yeah. But before you start to play around with data and you want to analyze your data for predictive maintenance, for condition monitoring, for your energy consumption or something like that, what is the prerequisite? What you need to do first is, of course, you need to make sure that your network, your plant is secure. So security is a baseline for everything when you start your digital journey. And I don't want to forget regulation and standards, especially in the pharmaceutical industry, especially in the aerospace industry. Safety plays a major role there, and all these topics needs to be considered when you are starting your digital journey. Okay, let's talk about what are the impact of digitalization for your company, for an enterprise. When you analyze your enterprise and you see the whole value chain, probably you have to reconsider your old business model at all. Probably you have to consider your go-to-market approach. Think about how many companies in the last year all of a sudden selling their product online, because simply due to the lockdowns everywhere globally, they cannot sell it in a store anymore. Let's talk about production. Is your production already very automated? Very good. But can you now go to the next step and use some of the new technologies to digitalize your production? Next step is the same, where applies for the production processes and of course for the business processes. And then for me, number 5, the most important topic, and I will emphasize this again and again. When you start a digital transformation, when you start a change, a project within your organization, the most important, and that's what I learned in the last 5 years in my work, is really change management. Bring your people on board. Tell them what you do, what is your plan, what is your vision, what do you want to achieve. Without the people, only with technology, you will never achieve a new business model, a new revenue stream, and you will not be able to change your company in the way you want to do that. It's all about people. Okay, coming from there, let's try to go to the next page. We as Siemens, we defined around about, I think, 13 or 14 core technologies, so-called Industry 4.0 core technologies. In these 14 core technologies, we are investing every year, just to give you a ballpark number, 3 billion euro. So what you see here are, for me, the most important topics for the industrial part. So let's start as additive manufacturing. This is definitely 3D printing. I mean, some of you, probably Jose Manuel, you can bring an example out of the aerospace industry here, right?
Yeah. Additive manufacturing is used in metallic parts. Yeah, I think most of you are using this technology also already. It's a very good opportunity to make that parts that are complex to make in the traditional CNC machine, for instance.
Yeah. The next topic I just mentioned, cybersecurity. Again, for me, a prerequisite before you start to play with your data, to do any data analytics, make sure that your networks are safe. Talking about data analytics, smart analytics, artificial intelligence, these are very good technologies to, for example, yesterday I had a meeting with a small startup company and based in London. And what they are doing, they're using, and they're taking data from the machines, and they are using artificial intelligence in order to see different movements and see why the quality, how can they improve the quality of the product. This is of course great, because then you have less waste, you have less cost, and it helps the company to increase their OEE. The topic of robotics will become more and more important. Of course, again, automation will still, in 10, 20 years, PLCs and so on and so forth will play a major role. The topic of simulation, digital twin, Jose Manuel will later on touch on that again. blockchain and IoT platforms, for example. I mean, we have, I think, more than 420 providers of different IoT platforms. How should I know which is the best one for me? What I predict here is definitely that we see a lot of mergers, a lot of companies coming together. And in the end of the day, the big ones like Amazon, AWS, and Microsoft Azure will play here the leading role. Talking about smart products, here I will bring you some examples later on from Airbus. So again, my message here and also the learning, the key learning is, the digital transformation is definitely changing all industry. And if you don't adapt, if you don't try to adapt, it might happen that your business will be gone. It sounds hard, it's hard, but it's real life. Okay, let's take a look. Jose Manuel.
Yeah, thank you, Carsten. Thank you again. Let me talk about now the intelligent production. And for Siemens, intelligent production means digital enterprise. In the digital enterprise, the holistic approach consists of 3 digital twins. The first one, we can start with the digital twin of the product, which is the design and the simulation of the mechanic, electric, or aerodynamic behavior of the product. Then, then the digital twin of production represents analysis of material flow, the simulation of the process, the simulation of the plant with automatic code generating for PLC and CNC, and also with virtual commissioning for the machines. Then the real world comes with this simulation, because these simulations are transported to the real production. It means that you can see what you were simulating in the process and in the plant, how it becomes to be a real production, and in the end, the real product comes with information, and this information is considered digital twin of performance. And with this information also, we can feedback into the design for improvements, and the design is part of the digital twin of product. So then these concepts are considered a look back and can offer continuous improvements. All these concepts with the security, like the cybersecurity, is part of our portfolio. Now, let me present you the different components to create the digital twin. Yeah, in this slide, I will show you what kind of things we can use to create the digital twin. On the bottom of this slide, Siemens home turf is the automation. Here the picture that you can see is a CNC and robot, and additionally, each other PLC driver machine can be equipped with Siemens technology. Going one level higher, talking about the support, Siemens offers a large palette of services like digital services, cybersecurity analysis, and integral plant maintenance. I would like to put here, to set an example, in integral plant maintenance, we have in Airbus Illescas and Airbus Getafe this product implemented, let's say. It means that Siemens support the end customer not only in Siemens automation, also in other brands automation. Okay. Also, Siemens can support regarding the consulting. So if you need to improve or to implement something that you don't know how to start or how to bring it into the production, yeah, let us know, and then we will try to help you. In order to wrap up the digital twin, the whole software, like design or production engineering, is there to support you. So ultimately, Siemens works on the data extraction from the shop floor and visualization with top floor information. Also in the right side, two partners complete the aerospace portfolio. Atos for mainly integration services and smart infrastructures in case you want to build up new factory with also energy management and fire safety and climate requirements. Now let me present you 4 key areas where part of our portfolio is integrated. On the top left, 5-axis milling. Of course, all of us know that is not new, but we are working now in a new solution with 5-axis milling machine integrated with a robot. And we can achieve in research projects very high accuracies in this technology. On the bottom left, you can see a picture of the tape laying with more than 6 axes, and Siemens offers the solution for the machine, for the tape laying machine, and in regard hardware, but also in software to make the digital twin. On the top right, you can see a fully automated final assembly line, and in the bottom right, AGV, not only transporting parts, also transporting complete aerospace structures. And all of these solutions are implemented with Siemens portfolio. Now, in the next slide, I want to present you what is included in the vertical integration. The vertical integration is based on the field devices from various machines which can use edge devices for high-frequency data extraction. Additionally, Siemens offers edge apps, but also customer can build up their own apps for monitoring and analyzing the data. This is part that the data extraction and the data analytics that Carsten mentioned before is part of the Industry 4.0. Finally, if wished, cloud infrastructure can be offered in order to deliver apps similarly and secure to various edge devices. This is only a shortly brief of all the solution that we have for intelligent production. And yeah, this is what I wanted to show to you very, very quickly, because yeah, this is part of the presentation, but if you need something interested in the future, please let me know and we can work on it. Thanks, Carsten, and please take the control again.
Okay, Jose Manuel, thanks a lot. So let's come to some interesting business models. I would like to show you some an example of a changing business model from Airbus, from the Defense and Space organization. It's the launch of the Airbus Aerial. It's basically the civil drone business. So, and for me, a very, very interesting change of business model. So what they actually have done in the last 3 years is portfolio-wise, they combined satellite pictures with drone pictures. So what they have done with that, they talked to an insurance, or actually they were addressed by contact by an insurance company. And so the challenge of the insurance company, especially in the United States, now I have to ask, can you see the slides? Can you still, Jose?
Yeah.
Okay, I cannot see the slides anymore. Okay.
It's just up in page 14. It's okay?
Oh, can you see it? Good. Okay. So what was basically the challenge of the customer, of the insurance company? After a flood, after a wildfire, after hurricanes, especially happening in the United States, they got thousands of claims, insurance claims. and they wanted to process them much faster. So what actually Airbus did is they used these satellite pictures or images plus the dynamic pictures or the dynamic images from the drones and combined them. On top of that, they used machine learning to provide a so-called sequence of damages for the damages. So with that, they were able to compare the so-called before and after picture or situation, and they were able to identify damages done to the roof or to the house. So it went so far that in some cases, the house owner even got a letter from the insurance saying, "We are sorry, your house is gone during the wildfire. Your claim is already in process. We are sorry for you," and so on and so forth. So that's a letter you don't want to have, right? But however, it's a completely new business model. For me, very interesting, since who would believe that Airbus is selling something to an insurance company, right? So that's the reason why I really like this approach of taking a look, okay, even when I'm focusing on the Airbus, on the aerospace industry, but with my competence, with my technology, with my product software solutions, which other sectors can I serve and generate an additional value stream for me? So in this case here, for portfolio-wise, the smart products are the drone and the satellite. So the digital servers was basically the pictures, the images, and the dynamic images from the drone and the pictures from the satellite. And with that, they created a new business model. And I can tell you what was the biggest problem here in this case, or speaking for all the Airbus and defense space organization developing new business model. It was not the technology. It was not developing new business models. It was simply, again, changing the mindset of the people. And for that, what they did is they developed a so-called hybrid ecosystem. They worked with other startups, with new companies, external companies, and of course with the internal people together and develop these new kind of business models. So there are 4 questions the CEO always asks his guys. What is a problem we want to solve of our customer? And here, just a tip from my side. Sometimes think about how you can even solve the problem of your customers. So one step further, that might help. How do you monetize that? Now, how do you make money with that? How can you scale it up? And why, in this case, why does the Airbus brand makes different to it? So these are the fundamental questions within Airbus before they even start an implementation of a new business model. Very interesting for me. The second one is also from the aerospace sector, Rolls-Royce. They call it the launch of Power by the Hour. So, all Rolls-Royce, they're manufacturing engines, for the aircraft. And it was a product business. They sold these engine to the airplane manufacturer, and they did this, and therefore they got a one-time comparably large amount of money, right? That's it. So it was a clear product selling business. So what they have done, they changed it to, let's say, service business with a performance-based contract. So the customer only paid not for the whole engine as he did before. He paid for the hours he used it. Very simple. And Rolls-Royce was still the owner, so the IP, the intellectual property owner of the engine. Rolls-Royce took care of maintenance, of service, repairs, which was included in the price already. So what he basically achieved here was that Rolls-Royce had a stable revenue over the time, because they knew exactly how many flight hours each of the aircraft has. So they have a stable revenue stream, and at the same time, they addressed new customer from the low-cost carriers, because the low-cost carrier was not able to buy the expensive products, the expensive engine of Rolls-Royce. So with this, a new service model or new business model, they were able to address customer segment. Very interesting for me. Okay, and now I think when I take a look at the time, we have to hurry up a little bit, and that's also already the wrap up and summary. And then I hope we can discuss a little bit about all these different business models, technology, and so on and so forth. So our let's say our wish is that you rethink your business model. How can you offer new software, new solutions and services to your customer or to your customers? How can you generate new business? Yeah. So what is, and this is my personal experience in the last 5 years dealing here in the digital world. Number one, if you want to change something in your company, it always starts on the top, in the C level, in the management team, the CEO, CFO, CDO, or whatever. They need to define a dedicated team who is working on these new innovation, on these new business models. Probably you can add external advisor. Of course, they cost money. You know, Deloitte is doing something like this. Boston Consulting, all these usual suspects. Also, Siemens is helping here. Think about cooperation with other suppliers, like Jose Manuel just mentioned. This is something definitely what you can consider. Or even think about cooperation with your customer. Talk with your customer. What are your pain points? Okay, let's do a co-creation and share the cost, share the risk of this project. And in the end of the day, it's a win-win situation again. Make sure that the C-level, that the management of your company is having a dedicated budget for these new, let's say, for this dedicated team for the innovation. And then also reconsider how the way you work today. Now think about new working methods like agile work, like Scrum Master. There are a lot of new things in the market. If you have questions there, just contact me or Jose Manuel, and then we can help you. And again, and that's my final words here. I talked about technologies. We talked about business models. We talked about revenue streams. We talked about everything. Again, at the end of the day, it's about change management. It's about the people. If you don't have the people on board, you will not change your company. You will not implement the digital or start the digital transformation. And with that, thank you very much. And now we are absolutely open for questions. I take the German questions. No, I'm just kidding. We take questions in Spanish, German, English, Portuguese, Chinese, whatever you want. If you feel much more comfortable, please speak in Spanish. Yeah.